Hi, everyone. Stop what you're doing for a second because there's something happening right now in your life that you need to pay attention to. And really pay attention to. Someone around you is not being honest, not in a small way, not in a white lie to spare feelings way, but in a calculated, deliberate, I need you to believe something that isn't true so I can get what I want way. Welcome back. It's Anna. And before you think this is about paranoia or drama or seeing problems where there aren't any, just hear me out. Because what I'm picking up on isn't mystical, it's observable. It's patterns of behavior that are showing up in someone's actions if you know what to look for. And you're starting to look, you're starting to notice things don't add up. And that instinct, that feeling that something's off, you need to trust it. Let me explain what I mean. You may have someone in your life right now who seems perfect, too attentive, too invested, too quickly, saying all the right things, showing up in all the right ways, making you feel seen and special and chosen. Some people experience this as intoxicating at first. Finally, someone who gets it, who understands, who values them the way they've been wanting to be valued. It might feel like you've been waiting for this person, this opportunity, this relationship, this connection. And now that it's here, you don't want to question it. You don't want to ruin it by being suspicious or overthinking. But here's what's actually happening. You're being groomed. Not necessarily in a predatory sense, but this person needs you to see them a certain way so they can use you a certain way sense. Let's pause right here because this is important. This reflection invites you to consider, is there someone in your life right now who seems too good to be true? Someone who showed up exactly when you were vulnerable, when you needed something, when you were lonely or hurt or looking for answers or validation. You may have met them during a transition, a breakup, a job loss, a move, a moment when your defenses were down and you were more open to connection than you usually are. It's possible that timing wasn't coincidence. Some people have a radar for vulnerability. They can sense when someone's walls are down, when someone's desperate for connection, when someone's willing to overlook red flags because they need what's being offered. And they use that, not always consciously, not always maliciously, but they use it. Some people are drawn to wounded birds because wounded birds are easier to cage. They don't fly away. They're grateful for the attention. They don't ask too many questions. You may have been the wounded bird, and this person positioned themselves as the rescuer, the answer, the solution to everything that's been wrong. And you believed them because you wanted to, because it felt good to be chosen, to be prioritized, to matter to someone. It can feel like fate, like the universe sent you exactly what you needed, exactly when you needed it. But fate doesn't love bomb. People with agendas do. This reflection invites you to consider, did this person show up when you were at your most vulnerable? There's something specific about what luring you into a trap means. It's possible the trap isn't obvious. It's not like they're trying to scam you out of money or get you into a literal dangerous situation, though that's possible too. But more often, the trap is emotional. It's dependence. It's getting you so invested, so attached, so enmeshed that by the time you see who they really are, you're too deep to walk away easily. The trap is making you believe you need them, that you can't do this without them, that your success or happiness or stability is dependent on their continued presence. Some people build traps out of generosity. They do things for you, help you, support you, And every favor is a string attached. Every act of kindness is leverage they're building for later. You may have felt uncomfortable accepting help, but they insisted. They made it seem like it was no big deal, like they just wanted to help, like you'd be insulting them by refusing. And now you owe them. Maybe not explicitly, but it's there. This unspoken debt, this sense that you can't set boundaries or disagree or walk away because look at everything they've done for you. That's the trap. Not the help itself, but the obligation the help creates, the power dynamic it establishes, the way it positions you as the one who takes and them as the one who gives. It can feel confusing because the help is real. They did do those things. They were there when others weren't. So how can you be suspicious of someone who's been so supportive? This reflection invites you to consider, does this person's help come with strings attached, spoken or unspoken? Let me talk about what they might be hiding from you. It's possible they're hiding their real intentions. They came into your life wanting something specific, access to your network, your resources, your validation, your emotional labor, your body, your status. But they can't just ask for that directly. So they build a relationship, create intimacy, establish trust, make you feel special. And once you're invested, once you care, once you're attached, then they start taking what they actually wanted all along. Some people are hiding their past, how they've done this before to other people, the pattern of entering lives, taking what they need and leaving damage in their wake. You may find out later that you weren't the first, that there's a trail of people who tell similar stories, who describe similar patterns, who fell for the same performance. And when you hear those stories, you'll recognize your own experience, the same lines, the same moves, the same escalation from perfect to problematic. Or they're hiding their current life. They're presenting themselves as available when they're not, single when they're partnered, successful when they're struggling, honest when they're anything but. It can feel like you're being shown a highlight reel, a carefully curated version of someone that bears little resemblance to who they actually are day to day. This reflection invites you to consider, how much do you actually know about this person's real life? Have you verified anything or just accepted what they told you? There's something about the warning signs you might be seeing. It's possible you've already noticed inconsistencies, stories that don't quite match up, details that change, explanations that don't fully explain. But when you bring it up, they have an answer. Always. They're never caught off guard. They never stumble. They have a reason for everything that sounds just plausible enough that you feel bad for questioning. And so you drop it. You tell yourself you're being paranoid. You gaslight yourself into believing their version because believing them is easier than accepting you might be being deceived. Some people are master storytellers. They don't get flustered when caught in inconsistencies because they've had practice. They know how to redirect, how to make you feel guilty for doubting them, how to turn your legitimate questions into evidence of your trust issues. You may have found yourself apologizing for asking questions, for needing reassurance, for wanting clarity. And that right there, that's a red flag the size of a building. Because healthy people don't punish you for needing information. They don't make you feel crazy for noticing things don't add up. If someone makes you feel bad for trusting your instincts, that's not love. That's control. It can feel crazy making. Like you can't trust your own perception. Like maybe you are paranoid or too damaged or too suspicious or too something. But what if you're not? What if you're just seeing clearly and they need you not to? This reflection invites you to consider, have you been made to feel crazy for noticing inconsistencies? Let me talk about what you might need to do with this information. It's possible you need to investigate, not in a stalker way, but in a verify what you've been told way. Google them, check their social media, talk to people who know them. See if the story they're selling matches the reality other people know. And I know that feels uncomfortable, like you're being suspicious or untrusting or violating privacy. But protecting yourself isn't wrong. Requiring that people be honest isn't an overreach. Some people will tell you that if you have to investigate, the relationship is already broken, and maybe, but sometimes you have to investigate to find out if there was a real relationship to break or just a performance you were watching. You may discover things that confirm your suspicions, or you may discover you were wrong and feel relief. Either way, you'll know. And knowing is better than this constant low-level anxiety of suspecting but not being sure. Or you need to create distance. Pull back. Stop being so available. Stop accepting help. Stop sharing so much. See how this person responds when you're less accessible. Because people who genuinely care about you will respect boundaries, will give you space, will be okay with you having a life that doesn't revolve around them. But people who are running a game, they'll panic when you pull back, they'll escalate, they'll love bomb harder, they'll create urgency, they'll make you feel guilty, they'll manufacture a crisis that requires your immediate attention. It can feel like a test, and it is. You're testing whether this person can handle you having autonomy, whether they can tolerate you not being under their influence. This reflection invites you to consider what would happen if you created distance. How would this person respond? There's something about urgency I need to address. It's possible this person creates a lot of urgency. Everything is time sensitive. Every decision needs to be made now. Every opportunity is fleeting. Every problem is an emergency. And that urgency, it's designed to prevent you from thinking, from consulting other people, from taking the time to evaluate whether what they're asking makes sense. Urgency is a manipulation tactic. It pressures you into decisions you might not make if you had time to really consider them. Some people use urgency to get you to commit before you're ready, to invest before you have information, to trust before they've earned it. You may have noticed that this person doesn't like when you say, let me think about it, or I need to talk to someone about this, or can we revisit this later? They need your answer now. They need your commitment now. They need you locked in before you have a chance to see clearly. And if you resist the urgency, they make you feel like you're the problem, like you're overthinking, like you're missing out, like you're going to regret not moving faster. But healthy relationships don't require urgency. They allow for thoughtfulness, for consultation, for pacing that feels comfortable to both people. This reflection invites you to consider, does this person pressure you to make decisions quickly? Do they respect your need for time? Let me slow down and talk about what protecting yourself looks like. It's possible protecting yourself means disappointing this person, setting boundaries they don't like, saying no to things they want you to say yes to, creating space when they want closeness. And that's going to feel hard if you care about them, if you're attached, if you've been conditioned to prioritize their feelings over your safety. But your discomfort with their disappointment is less important than your safety. Your need to be liked is less important than your need to be protected. Some people would rather be in danger than be seen as difficult, would rather be used than be alone, would rather ignore red flags than deal with the discomfort of confronting them. You may be one of those people, and if you are, you need to ask yourself why. What makes you so afraid of being alone that you'll accept someone whose presence feels threatening? Because that's trauma. That's conditioning. That's a wound that needs healing, not a relationship that needs saving. You remain in complete control of what you do with this information. You can investigate, you can confront, you can distance, you can stay and hope it gets better. But staying and hoping it gets better without any changes, that's not protection. That's just delayed harm. The power is yours. It always has been. You may notice reading this has activated something. Maybe fear, maybe recognition, maybe denial, because it's easier to believe I'm wrong than to accept you might be in danger. Whatever it is, pay attention to it. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But don't ignore your instincts because someone convinced you they're not reliable. Before we close, I want to ask you something. What's one thing about this person that's bothered you that you've been ignoring? Just one thing. Name it. Even just to yourself. And what would happen if you took that thing seriously instead of dismissing it? This person is luring you into a trap, and what they're hiding from you, it might be their real intentions, their real history, their real situation, their real character. And you don't have to know exactly what they're hiding to know that hiding itself is a problem. Honest people don't require you to ignore your instincts. They don't punish you for asking questions. They don't create urgency that prevents thought. Not eventually, right now, today. Trust yourself with this. Trust that if something feels off, it probably is. You don't need proof to protect yourself. You don't need to wait until harm is done to create boundaries. I'll see you in the next one. And listen, your safety matters more than someone's feelings about you protecting it. Choose safety every time